Welcome back, y'all, and happy Saturday. This is the Bluechip Breakdown, and we're your hosts, Bull and P. Today, we're going to be just updating you on how we feel about Tennessee's 2025 season. There have been a whole lot of moves, obviously, in the offseason. We've gone back and forth, but we're going to try to break everything down for you. I know that the baseball team's playing right now, and, they lost last night. I mean, they've been losing, but listen, y'all, this is baseball. They're going to go through their ups and downs. I'm not worried about that team. It's better that happens now rather than it happens later. So we should be good. Y'all just make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. And I want to start off, Pete, because we didn't get your thoughts on Colton Hood. So maybe we could take a look at his film and you could say, how you feel about his game and all of that. And before we get into that, let me get into this chat real quick. We got JPat86 going on, dog, saying GBO, FUGA all day. Love to hear that. Love to see that. From Will is saying, yo, what's going on, Will? Happy to see y'all in here. All right, so we're going to start off with Colton Hood. And P, you just say how you just tell us how you feel about him.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's a solid pickup. He has some pretty natural ability. I think, like you talked about in your breakdown of him, has a lot of explosiveness, kind of in and out of his breaks. Does a pretty good job transitioning. Does a good job, with his hips. Seems like a pretty fluid athlete, a guy that I think will fit in well. I don't see him being a guy that's going to push for like starting time or anything like that. At least not year one. But he's a guy I think is a good depth piece for us and is a valuable option to be able to turn to off the bench. Does a pretty good job staying on top of routes and has pretty good zone awareness, things like that. So pretty versatile piece. You see him playing some nickel back as well, playing, kind of playing that slot corner, if you will. So we'll see if the staff gives him a look there or not, because we are looking for somebody, especially if you look at Caleb Beasley, potentially moving back to safety, kind of looking for that second star. So he's a guy that could factor in there as well. So I think a pretty good versatile piece. Not sure if he could play any safety for you. I don't think it's quite big enough for that or necessarily physical enough to be a box safety or even a deep, middle field safety either. But I mean, I like his film, man, especially he's only a freshman, so young, still got room to grow and room to develop. So I think it's a pretty good pickup overall.
Yeah, so this is all of his 35 targets from last season. So every time that the ball was passed to him in coverage, that's what we broke down yesterday. And he only let 17 catches happen. So for me, I think that's great. That's about 48%. He went up against some really good players. Obviously, we showed him versus Ted. I think that he held his own there. So he's a guy that, just like P said, and I kind of echoed those same sentiments yesterday, he can play outside corner, inside corner for you. Hopefully what that does is it frees up one of those other guys that are already playing at either star or playing outside corner where they can go to play safety. Now, what I've heard, P, is that Tennessee's still looking to maybe add a safety. Who they're going to add, I have no idea, but you probably want to try to add just some type of a body because that room, and we will go through that. We're going to give our grades on that and, everything. But for me, I just think that we need some more safety bodies, like 100%. That was our biggest pressing need. So I think that he's a very, very solid pickup. And with all that being said, P, I want to go on ahead and take a look. I guess you know what? We can go on ahead and start talking about this preseason poll. So this is from USA Today. All right. And I think that they updated this on May the 1st. So this is recently updated. This is their preseason top 25 rankings. We all know that, there's still going to be a little bit of movement with these rosters, but not too much. Everybody who's going to be in the portal, they're already in the portal. Most of the, top names, they've already landed somewhere. So you can get a pretty good idea of how the rosters look. You understand, what the different schemes are, offense, defense, special teams. So you see the Tennessee sitting at number 14. And the way that I did this, the teams that are in red are the teams that don't have a general manager. There's only 4 teams in the preseason top 25 without a GM. We've been very vocal about it. You got to have one. And really, looking at the teams that do have general managers, as we've said, I think that they're all doing a really good job of holding on to the talent that they need, going out and getting better talent. It's not so much necessarily about, hey, we need people that can, find us really good high school talent, which I think that could be part of it. But for me, the biggest factor for me is that we need somebody that's going to be able to focus on what the current market rate is and make sure that we're not paying over that, not paying under that, making sure that we're paying players what they need to get paid. And then having the money to be able to go out and add some more pieces, understanding who on our current roster isn't happy, who's probably going to leave, okay, and taking care of things as soon as they come on our desk. Like with the whole Nico situation, as soon as he asked for the money, and I hate to keep on bringing it up, but as soon as he asked for the money, we either should have said at that point, hey, we can pay you or we can't. And if we did that, then in that winter window, Tennessee would have had, we would have had some better options to choose from with our quarterbacks. So, you had to be able to do things like that. But P, what are your thoughts just in looking at this top 25 with the GMs or just with pretty much anything?
Well, I mean, first of all, man, I think this is great work. You're going and researching this and finding the 4 teams that don't have GMs in top
Oh,
25.
thank you.
I know that took a lot of work, so shout out to you for that. But I mean, I think you look at this list. I mean, I think that tells you all you need to know. It's 21 teams out of the top 25 that have GMs. So there's definitely a trend there, obviously. So I think Tennessee needs to get with the program, man. I mean, you know, it's not so much a deal. Like you hear people kind of pushing back on it and saying, well, we don't want anybody that's gonna kind of be over top of Heupel or anything like that. It's not necessarily he's over top of Heupel. He's just taking a large chunk of what Heupel has to do off his plate. Heupel shouldn't have to necessarily worry about roster management per se, especially now in today's game. Now, if you go back, before NIL and transfer portal, it wasn't as much. But now these guys are coming and going. They're leaving. They could hold out at any time. Like it's a lot for a head coach to try to juggle that as well as try to get his team ready to go win ball games, worry about the, strength program and worry about, his playbook and just all these other things that the head coach has to worry about, recruiting new players, stuff like that. Like it's a lot to worry about. So I think adding a GM who comes in and can only focus on that type of stuff. Like you said, the whole Nico deal. Nico comes into his office, says he's maybe unhappy, wants another, a higher dollar amount, whatever it is. At that point, that GM who understands the roster, understands who not just our roster, but also the player pool, potential replacements for Nico, things like that. He understands, hey, you know what? We need to go ahead and pay Nico the $4 million, or you know what? We can cut ties and go get somebody else that can kind of replicate what he did for us this past season. And we could have made that decision way back in December or whenever, January, whatever it was. So I think it's a huge deal. Hopefully Dana White pulls the trigger on this and goes ahead and makes that higher. I don't know who you go get, but I think it's pretty much essential in this age of college football. You need a general manager to really manage your roster. So,
Yeah.
hopefully we'll make that move like soon. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. And so this right here is from 10 Vols 1084. Thank you for joining us, brother. Saying that, or he's asking, am I a fool to think having a GM wouldn't matter? I feel like these kids just care about pay and playing time, mostly pay. Not sure what benefit it brings if we say no. So I think that your point is so valid because, like you said, this is such a different day and age. Like I hear people saying, well, Tennessee needs to do a better job of landing players. Well, you can only do so much of talking to the players all the time, which I can tell you for a fact, for a 150 million% fact, that our staff is doing that. Like our staff does a really, really good job of contacting players, staying in contact with players, talking to their family members, talking to the coaches and letting them know, hey, we value you, we want you. But now because there is money involved, that's a big thing. Like if you're looking at, something that several people are talking about is, hey, Tennessee's not putting out too many draft picks, like not relatively speaking to the rest of the ACC. We're somewhere in the middle there. That's not good enough. I think that we all should know that. That's just not good enough. They're looking at how are you going to get me to my hopes and dreams, whether that for most of these kids is going to be we want to make it to the league, whether that's realistic or not. Some kids will look at, hey, we want to be doctors or, whatever. They're going to look at that. They're going to look at, how are the practices being run? How do I fit into your schemes and all of that? Those are very small things, right? I wouldn't say that they're small, but like the NFL thing, that's first. But money's up there with the NFL. All these kids want to get paid. So having a GM who can manage how we're spending money, because I've talked about, and actually we're going to go ahead and bring this up right now just to show you. This is what I was looking at for 2025. Now, this is just ballpark figures. I think Tennessee is going to be working with about $30 million if you're talking about NIL along with revenue sharing. There's been this big hoopla about, man, listen, Texas paying $35 to $40 million. Well, if you add this stuff up, that's not that much money, like relatively speaking. So for me, Tennessee being at 30 million, that would put, I think, Texas at about 35. That would put those Buckeyes at 40 because they spent 25 million, right? They're going to spend at least, I would say 17 million on from the rev share, and that puts them at 40. So the whole point here is I think Tennessee's in a pretty good spot here as far as, hey, we've got money that we can allocate to these players. but it's about how we're spending it. And whenever I've said this a lot of times, but I want to make sure that people understand where I'm coming from with it. Whenever I said, hey, I think Tennessee's in a money, like we're not in the best situation with our money. What it means is we might have $30 million, which is good, but if we're allocating too much to players that aren't playing or whatever, we're not using that money wisely. That's when a GM comes into play. So now whenever these kids are, looking at us, they say, okay, well, I can get paid market value because this team has the money allocated, in the right spots. But also, I do think that if we find a GM that, and this is something that I actually heard Jason Swain say, if we have a GM that comes from the NFL that is used to what NFL caliber players look like, that helps us out tremendously. Not to say that we don't already kind of have something similar to that, but if everyone else is doing it, we got to keep up with the time. So that's why I'm saying it's going to work out for us. If we add one, if we add the correct one, it's not just about adding somebody, but add the correct person. So that's where I'm coming from with it, P. But looking at those numbers, something else that I'm curious on, P, is because revenue sharing is coming in, this is in 2025 through this entire season, all the way up to that winter window after the season, we can actually save some money. We can pay these kids at market value, which, I've heard that the players have, changed their contracts up some because of the revenue sharing. So if that's happened, hopefully it stayed relatively, similar to what it was before. That gives us a lot of money moving forward, for next season, for 2026. But it's going to be interesting to see how teams want to allocate funds. But having a general manager will help you to do it the correct way. So it's not just wasting money, blowing money on people that aren't even playing.
Yeah, I mean, and I think that's really the biggest thing about a GM. Like you said, I mean, you talk about a salary cap. That GM's going to help, obviously, like you said, help you understand a player's value, how much you're spending, really help keep track of the numbers. Which a head coach, I mean, they have so many other things that's on their plate. They can't really necessarily get into the weeds of the numbers and all that stuff. So yeah, GM, man, I think it's a no-brainer in my opinion. You have to get one, and then somebody to think about, like you said, having that additional eye for talent. Because you've seen these NFL caliber guys. I mean, how valuable would that be for you to be able to go and find some gyms, maybe find some bargain guys that are NFL caliber guys, but maybe they're not even asking for that much money. Like, I think a GM would just make so much sense. So, Daniel White, I kind of got the vibe from his talk on whatever that was the other day. I think that he would be open to doing it. So we'll see if he makes that move, and hopefully we get somebody that's coming here and can make a difference, make an actual impact, because we need some help, I think, big time.
Yeah. I mean, I just think that there is no reason that we don't do it. It sounds like they were going to do it at some point this summer. I mean, I think that they will do it. I don't see any reason that they won't do it. So for me, P, I'll just speak personally. I feel like that's something that Tennessee has got to do moving forward. Like, I mean, it's too much money, right? Like there's too much money floating around and all of that. There's too many different moving pieces. You need somebody that, like you said, can take the weight off of that can take the weight off of Coach Heupel's shoulders. So, with that being said, P, let's go ahead and start to jump into how we see this team, man. Like for 2025, because this roster is pretty much set. Like we said, Tennessee, we are actually targeting a wide receiver, and we'll take a look at his clips. But we're targeting one more guy there, maybe one more safety. But outside of that, the team is pretty much set. So looking at this quarterback room, P, what are your thoughts? And you know what? Actually, I'm going to say this first, real quick, so I can pull up clips. But I think that with Joey Aguilar coming in, for me, his skill set is comparable to like a Jackson Dart. Jackson Dart was a first-round draft pick. And the reason I'm drawing this correlation is because Jackson Dart plays in the same system that Tennessee runs. I think that Ole Miss runs it better than we did last season, but it's the same system. So if you can run it as well as he did, and it wasn't always perfect, but he ended up being a first-round draft pick. If Joey Aguilar can be similar to that, I think that the biggest thing for him is, number one, learning how the system works, getting on the same page with his wide receivers, tight ends, running backs, all of that, getting used to the tempo, and not turning the football over as much, which I do think that the offense will help him with that some, but it's not going to fix everything. So the whole point here is if he can do it, then I think Tennessee's in a good spot. And P, while you give your thoughts, I'm gonna go ahead and pull up Jackson Dart's clips. And for anyone that for those of y'all that don't know, P and I do have another channel. It is called Sports Legends, and we are rolling out as much draft player highlights with the all 22 as we possibly can. We're on quarterbacks right now. This is what really opened up my eyes to this comp that I'm making here with Joey and Jackson. But we hope that y'all will go on over there, watch those videos, like, sub, all of that would help us out tremendously. We're trying to get that growing. Also, I'm gonna punt this out real quick, Pete, that we do have the Cash App, the Cash App QR code in the top right-hand corner. If y'all would like to donate as little as $1, that would help us out tremendously. And if you can't scan that, our Cash App is $ Bluechip Breakdown. It's also down in the little ticker at the bottom there. But Pete, what do you think about the quarterback room?
I mean, it's I guess it's kind of early to tell because we don't know really what Merklinger is or GMAC, and then we don't really know what Aguilar is going to be. I mean, we have obviously more film on Aguilar, and the film says he's a gunslinger. He can make all the throws, but he also has a tendency to make really bad decisions. So something you kind of touched on, the offense should help him with his poor decision making and just kind of throwing into coverage. Should have a lot more wide open space to work with. So hopefully he's not forcing the coverage more. But he's a guy, man. I mean, he's a boomer bust type of guy. I think if he can hone in on the mistakes and just be more consistent with his decisions and with his throws, he's a guy. I mean, he could line it up. He could go for over 3,000 yards. I mean, he could be 3,500 plus. I mean, he could really have a really good season, and I mean, really make some noise. I mean, I think he's that type of quarterback because he's pretty consistent with his deep ball. He hits deep ball pretty consistently, which last year and really every year the Hop has been here, we've had guys open down the field. Right, 2022, we had the most success hitting those guys, and that was our best season. We haven't had great success really since 2022 hitting those deep shots. So is that really the missing link? If we have a quarterback that can consistently hit deep shots, does that open up everything else in terms of the passing game as well as the run game as well too? So, if he can come in here, like you said, learn the playbook, learn his receivers, and not only that, but win over that locker room, like kind of come in there and essentially be the alpha. Like you don't have to like force it, but just be a guy that people know they can count on, that they can turn to, in the heat of battle, that they know can lead them to victory. Like kind of win your team in that way. And I mean, I think the sky's the limit for this kid. So I'm excited to see what the offense looks like with him. I think he's mobile enough to do some things with his legs. And then I think he shows enough arm talent. Like you watch his film, man, you see some throws that are just unbelievable that he makes, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's a good throw right there, but he makes some unbelievable throws. Yeah. If he can just hone that and just be more consistent with that, I mean, he could be really special talent. I mean, he has NFL talent. I really do believe that. It's just the consistency with him. So we'll see. But I mean, overall, man, this room it's early to tell. It's a young room, inexperienced room. But I mean, I'm hoping that Aguilar wins that job. I think we have the most upside with him.
Yeah, so for me personally, I mean, I don't even care who wins. I want for the best person to win. But again, just going back to the Jackson Dart and what we were just watching. So we start off watching Jackson Dart, and then those last clips, once we switched it, that was Joey. So I wanted to put them side by side just so that y'all could see what I was talking about. I think that from a talent perspective, with his arm and all of that, very similar to a Jackson Dart. He's probably more mobile than Jackson Dart is. I think that with Jake Merklinger, he's going to be a lot more mobile to me than what Jackson Dart is. His arm talent won't be as good. It's going to be close, but not as good. I think that GMAC really is the best of both worlds, or you know what I'm saying? But he's so young that you would hate to throw him out there in some of these really critical situations. The way the Tennessee schedule is set up, we're playing our tougher games on the road this year. Might not be the best situation for him to be starting in, but if he wins the job, if he shows that he has that poise, for me, I don't care. Like it really doesn't matter for me. So P, what's your grade for Tennessee's quarterback room? I know it's really early, but at this point, what's your really, really early grade?
I mean, honestly, I'll probably give it a C right now. It's because you don't know. We just don't know. And something else I want to touch on too is I'm interested to see what the dynamic is with whoever is named the starter. Like how short is their leash? How long is their leash? What is their perception of their leash? Do they feel like they can go in there and make a mistake and not get pulled? Do they feel like, hey, I throw one pick and I'm out? So I think it's going to be interesting too. Is somebody going to be nipping at the heels of the starter, or will the starter kind of be the guy unless they just go out there and absolutely bomb it? You know what I'm saying? So I'm curious to see how Heupel plays that.
Yeah, I think. Huh?
I was gonna say I give him a C as a grade, though. That'd be my grade.
Yeah, I think I would go with about a C as well, just because it's so unproven. You just don't know. But I think that the ceiling could be pretty high, especially whenever you talk about the way that Tennessee should be switching up schemes. right? Like, I mean, switching things up some, adding some wrinkles to it, you really have to, because we don't have a guy inside of this room that's, that has the same type of talent that Nico has outside of GMAC. But like we said, GMAC is still young. So opening things up, that's going to help the entire offense. And it's just about how much success can you get with your offense. I don't care if we run a daggone wing T, yo. I really don't. Whatever it takes for us to win, that's fine with me. So I think that things need to look a little bit different from last year to this year. And yeah, we've got some guys that I feel like could operate if we're running more underneath stuff, some more kind of like quarterback friendly, or some more quarterback friendly routes. Now let's talk about Tennessee's offensive line. Let's start off with these tackles. I feel good here. Obviously Lance Heard's going to start on the left side. Probably going to be David Sanders starting on that right side. Everyone's saying that he's for sure there. I think it's like 99.9% sure that he will be starting. He's looked good, I think, throughout spring. We've got some young guys here that they look very talented to me. So I think that we're deeper here. I think that we're better here. And, I probably should have thrown in what the pressure rate was from last season. I think that, from my guys that had over 100 snaps, it was at like 6 or 7%, which was on the bottom half of the SEC. But what grade would you give to our offensive, to our tackles, P?
Again, I mean, another unproven room, honestly. I mean, you have Lance Heard, but then the other side's unproven. So it's tough. There's a lot of talent, a lot of potential, a lot of guys you like. I mean, you like Bennett Warren, you like David Sanders, you like Jesse Perry, you like those guys a lot. I think Brian Grant's gotten better, and then haven't really seen Heard much. Or talking about Jeremiah's Heard, haven't really seen much of him. So I don't know, man. It's a tough grade. I'd probably go. I'm leaning toward like a B. A B, but with potential to potentially, be like an A plus type room. Like I think it could be a really good room, but I go for B just because of the lack of experience in that group.
Yeah, that's the only thing with me, and I think that B is probably fair, just because Lance Heard, he's looked a lot better. We know that he's an NFL talent. I mean, he should end up getting drafted pretty high if he has a good year. I think he's been putting in work, but like you say, there's a lot of young talent. It's just not proven talent. But I think that from a talent perspective, the room looks significantly better than it did last season. So I would go with a B, just like you said, P. They have a really, really high ceiling. I think that it could be A plus. If that's A plus, then man, look, Tennessee's going to be it's going to be tough for us not to be a playoff team. Next, let's talk about center. I think that Sat gets to start here. It could be Sam Pendleton. If Sam Pendleton is starting there, then you're going to bump in somebody. It's either going to be Sham Umarov playing at guard, or it's going to be Jesse Perry, more than likely. But we've got a lot of guys here that I think have looked good. Last year we had Coop. We had Sat was a freshman. We had a lot of guys that were just, almost like jack of all trades, master of none. But I would say that this year we've got guys that are like really true. They can really play at center. We've got several of them. So I feel good here. I'll go ahead and tell you, for me, P, my grade would be a B minus with the ceiling to, again, be like a very solid A. But what do you think about it?
Yeah, I'll say something. I was leaning like C plus, B, kind of that range. Just because again, it's not improving. I mean, the entire line's gonna be unproven because we had the same guys for like 6 years, so it's gonna be unproven across the board. But I think from a talent perspective, once again, you love the upside, man. I think Sats look good in the little bits we've seen of him. Pendleton showed some things at Notre Dame. I feel like Gus Hills looked good in practice, if I'm thinking right. Max Aronson showed some things. We love Jesse Perry. Nick Moore, as a true freshman, showed some things too. So I like the talent, and I think that there's potential to not really be drop off, like from 1 to 2 to all the way down. I think there's not been much drop off. So a lot of talent in that room, just unproven. So I'd probably say C plus maybe in this group.
Okay. Let's talk about guards. So I'm thinking it's going to end up being Wendell Moy with Sam Pendleton. And I love both of those guys. I think they look really good. And what I saw from their college clips at their previous schools, it's translated so far for me over the course of spring. So they do a really good job of passing things off of. I mean, I just think that the pass pro is going to be way better. And then they're also faster guys. Like they were clocked at I think 19 miles per hour, both of them very, very close to that. So if Tennessee's running more outside zone, which we haven't done a ton of, but versus some of those mint fronts that Georgia likes to run, we see that versus pretty much everybody now, different mint fronts. If you can get to the outside with the outside zone with some guards that can get over there, that have that speed, then that's going to be deadly. That's going to help Tennessee's running game and passing game because everything works hand in hand. You can work off of that. But then behind them, I love Jesse Perry. I love Sham. You know what I'm saying? I love what I've seen from guys like Max. And actually, I should have taken Aiden Bustle off it because Aiden's not still here. But you know, I think that we're in a pretty good spot here. I want to say guards for me, P. I'm gonna go with an A minus. But what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I think we're on the same page. I mean, I love this room, man. This might be the best on the O-line, the best combination of talent and a little bit of experience too. Like, I mean, I think you look at obviously Moy and Pendleton coming in, having played before at this level. I think those guys are going to kind of fit right in. But as well as Sham Umarov, who's played a lot of snaps in the SEC. He's a guy you can't really sleep on. I think he's looked really good. And I think he's a guy that honestly, he's probably pushing to start somewhere. Like, he's not just going to just let somebody have it. So I like him a ton. Absolutely love Perry. I mean, I think Agumoro looked really good in the spring game. He's a guy that we were really high on coming in. Thought he was a gem that we found. Think he's a 3-star guy, whatever. But I think he's grossly underrated. He's a guy. I mean, I think he's going to be pushing too. Like, there's another room. You don't feel like the daggum sky's falling if one guy goes down. You know what I'm saying? Like, you feel like you have some guys you can roll in there. So I'm going to be interested to see how Coach Ellerby rotates this group. If he has a rotation, or if he just kind of sticks with the same two bodies at those positions. But I'll give this group probably I'll probably go with you like A minus. I like this room a lot. It's a good room here.
Yeah, I think so. So that would bring our offensive line to about I mean, you know, it's probably anywhere from about, you know, maybe like a C plus to, yeah, you know what I'm saying? It's something like that. So I think that it's in a pretty decent spot just as far as what we're seeing as the floor. But you know, the ceiling is high. So I'm very optimistic about the offensive line. I think it's going to be the best that Coach Heupel's had at Tennessee. And if the offensive line's good, like we said, everything else follows suit. So we got to keep
I'll say this too about the O-line. The only thing you got to remember too is it's a new group, new playing together. So it could be a deal where maybe we start off kind of like you said at the floor, C plus type group, but by week 3, week 4, week 5, whatever, this is playing like an A group once they all gel together. So something to keep in mind.
Yeah, no, that's an excellent point. So now let's talk about tight ends, right? So Miles Kitselman sounds like he might be ready. I think that they said that his goal was September the 1st or the 7th, something like that, which would be you know, like the second game of the week. But they said that he's moving along quicker than they thought. So he might be ready for that week 1 game. Do you want to play him there? I mean, you might have to, because Syracuse ain't going to like that. I don't think that's like some slouch easy win. But outside of that, I love Ethan Davis. I love all these guys. I think we've got a lot of youth here, but really, really talented players. This for sure is the most talented tight end room that Coach Heupel's had at Tennessee. We can use these guys as gadgets. I expect a lot more 12 personnel, especially to start the season off, just while the quarterbacks are getting acclimated, because they can block, they can run the routes and all of that. So you got to utilize them. I think that they will get very heavily utilized. But for me, I'm going to give this group, I'm going to go with the B plus just because they're so young, but with the ceiling of an A plus for sure. But what do you think, B?
Yeah, I'm kind of in that same ballpark. I'd probably go B just because, like you said, the lack of experience. Really not much experience outside of Kitselman and Ethan Davis. Now, we typically only play 2 guys at a time. But I mean, I think, you know, Ethan Davis, he needs to prove that he's ready to come out and actually play at this level, be an every down, you know, blocker if he needs to be, and you know, do everything a tight end does, not just go catch passes and run routes. So if he can show that he can do that, then I think that bumps his room up to like a B plus, like you said. And then, I mean, the potential is through the roof. You look at, I mean, Cole Harrison, I think, has a lot of potential. And then Brame and Dorsally, I mean, gosh, dog, those guys are going to be absolutely unreal. I mean, just those 2 alone make you want to give this room an A. I mean, those guys are unbelievable. So, you know, we'll see how Coach Abe, you know, how he rotates these guys. We can get more than 2 guys in there, you know, throughout a game. But love this room too. But I'd probably go with a B for now for this group.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Let me get this one right here from David Speaks. He's saying that he thinks that if Joey has a great season, he could play himself into a 5th or 6th round pick. I think that if he has a great season, he's going to play himself into a way higher pick than that. We just talked about Jackson Dart coming from this exact same offense, because I know a lot of the knocks on Tennessee's players with the offense has been about the scheme. But seeing that Ole Miss can put their guy, you know, first round, Tennessee should be able to do it too. Hendon Hooker would have been a first round guy if he hadn't have gotten hurt. So if he has a great season, which that's what a great season looks like inside of this offense, he should be, you know, I would say at the worst 2nd round pick. That, to me, that would be a great season. But it's not even Of course, I want for him to get drafted high, but it's more about, man, put us in the best spot to win these ball games. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we're gonna move on to the next room. This is the running back room. This is another huge one for Tennessee. The running backs have gotta, I mean, they've got to take care of the football. They've got to run hard. They've got to make plays. I feel like they're gonna, catch some more passes too, P. Just because last year we held them in the block way too much. Where I don't think that we'll do that as much this season. Let them go out there, dump the football off to them in the flats. Helps out quarterbacks, opens up everything for the rest of the offense too. So this room is going to be just critical. It's going to be so big, but our running backs always put up good numbers as a unit. I'm not expecting for that to do anything but go forward this season because the offensive line should be. I think that it's going to be better. So for me, just looking at this room, I mean, do you have the bodies that you need inside of this system? I'd say hell yeah. So for me, I'm gonna say this is a very solid A. But P, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I love, absolutely love this room. We've done a good job of kind of stacking talent at this position, for a long time, really. But love this room, man. I think Deshaun Bishop's looking really good. What we've seen of him, I think he's going to have a big season as well. And then Peyton Lewis, I mean, he's the most talented back we've had here in a long time. I mean, you might have to go back to Jalen Hurd, Alvin Kamara, back to those days. I mean, he's up there with those type of guys. Big, fast, physical. Was a true freshman last year. Ran the ball hard. We saw him against Georgia, running through tackles, getting tough yardage. I mean, he's a guy that can play. And my other question is this his breakout year, or is it going to be next season? Because I mean, if he breaks out this year, then he's gonna command the bulk of the carries. He's going to be over 1,000 yards. He's going to be a household type name. Like if this is his breakout year, similar to like Jalen Wright's year, similar to Dylan Sampson last year. So I mean, he's really the key that makes this whole thing go, in my opinion. But we'll see what Star Thomas can give us. I think he's a valuable kind of that third option for you as well. And then I think two freshmen are going to be studs. I think Baker's ready to go this year. I mean, Morris probably is too, but I mean, Baker in the spring game, he looked like he might be ready to go steal some reps from those top two guys as well. So really like this room, man. Like you said, get him out of the backfield. Don't have a quarterback that's as mobile as Nico, so it's going to be helpful for him to have those options to dump it off too quick if he gets in trouble. So hopefully they can use, because they can all catch too, so hopefully we can use that. The only question with this group, what's the pass pro look like? I think Bishop, I think Starr, and I think even Lewis have looked pretty good doing that. So we'll see if they can continue to do that. But yeah, I get this room. I'm probably with you, man. Probably an A. It's tough to find any holes in this group.
Yeah. So I'm gonna get this one right here from Baldog saying that he's sort of new here. He's asking what do the different colors mean. So red means that they're out. Okay. It means that they're out for this time period. So but they are expected back. Orange means that they are limited. So it means they're doing basically like rehab work. Yellow means that they're practicing, they're going through all the motions, but it's just non-contact. So that's what all that means. Thank you for asking that. And I see that David helped out here too. So thank y'all for that. I'm gonna go on to the next one right here. Now let's talk about. Oh, I'm sorry, we already talked about the running backs. Let's go on to this wide receiver room because P, this one is really really big. I want to get your thoughts, and while you're giving your thoughts, I'm gonna see if I can pull up Jonathan Brady's film because he's the last guy that we're looking at from the transfer portal.
Yeah, I mean this is a group. I mean similar thing we've talked about for every group, man. There's not much experience, so we really just don't know. This is a team full of unknowns, honestly. We'll have to see what Mike Matthews gives you. We'll have to see what Brandon Staley gives you. We'll have to see we'll see what all those guys give you because we really don't know. I mean, even Chris Bradswell, who played the most last year, we don't really know. I mean, does he improve? Does he take some steps in the right direction? Because I mean, this is another group, man. You could say their floor is like a C minus, but I mean their ceiling, their realistic ceiling is like an A. I mean, I hate this cutting about short an A plus, but I mean this could be a really good group. But there's inexperience, man. So we'll kind of see how they all gel together. New quarterback as well, so that's going to be a new piece to kind of think about. I like this kid a lot as well from Cal. I think he'll be a good piece to add. The only issue, kind of like we talk about here all the time, is he's another slot body, which I think we're pretty decent with our slot bodies. We really need more outside body type guys with experience. But I mean, he can play outside as well. I think he can kind of be a versatile inside outside guy for you. I think he'd fit in nicely. And I think he'd be a good rotational piece. I don't think he'd come in here and start, but he'd be a good rotational piece. I think we could add him. But overall, this room, man, I get this room probably. I mean, I don't know. Like I said, it's a wide range. I'll just give him a C plus right now.
Yeah, so this is Jonathan Brady's clips, just like P said, it's coming from Cal, and I think he's got his other visit. It must be this weekend. I want to say it's SMU or something like that. It's not some super big name program, but Tennessee needs to add one more body. I think that just like you said, P, he's a good depth piece. He's got some skills. I don't think he's the fastest guy. But I think that he runs good routes. I think that his transitions look good. So would definitely love to add him, especially because I don't think that we have too many other options. So I would be happy if we could add him. But looking at this room to me, and I'm actually bringing that back up real quick for everybody. So looking at this room to me, I would say that the floor is higher than a C. And the reason that I'm saying that is because we've got a lot of youth. There's a lot of people that haven't played that much. But from a talent perspective, I think that they are more talented than what Coach Heupel's had. Like we've had guys with really good straight line speed. Now we've got guys with good straight line speed that just like Brady, who we're just looking at, and they have better straight line speed than what he has, but they can run the routes better. I think that their transitions are going to be significantly better, and that's what you need because whenever teams are playing, like how they're playing Tennessee's offense with their defense, where they're staying deep, they're going to make you run the short option routes, and then they're just going to tackle. They're going to make you dink and dunk them all the way down the field. In those situations, you need guys that can make people miss. And I think that we have that. Like, you need dogs that can make tough catches. I think that we have that here. So the quality of this room with all these players, I mean, Boo too. Boo's not going to be a full-time guy here, but even him, I love the toughness. Like, I think that they're ballers. So there's not enough quantity, but the quality is very, very good. So I would say that the floor for me, I'm going to go with a B minus. I think that that's what our floor is for these wide receivers. I think that they're going to have a great year. But if they really get bought in, okay, if we don't have a lot of that, which I don't think that we have too many divas, but if we don't have some of that diva stuff and all of that, I think that this room could be A+. I really sincerely do. Yes, it's young, but it's very talented. This is Chris Brazel's second year in our system. Same thing could be said about the other starters. Mike Matthews, 5-star guy coming out. Braylon Staley, 4-star guy. We said, hey, he's just as good as Mike Matthews to us. These guys, this is their second year. Now, Staley didn't get to play too much last season, but, man, his skill set's crazy. Inside, outside guy. Yeah. Most of the players here are inside, outside guys. So I just think that looking at the scheme change, and we keep on bringing it up, but it's going to be huge this year. Looking at the talent that we have, looking at the scheme change, it might almost be kind of like a blessing for us that we have kind of like newer quarterbacks here, because now you've got to try to dumb things down some. Hey, let's get the ball to our playmakers quick. Dumb it down. Let's throw it to them. Let them make plays, right? That's what we should have been damn doing. I don't understand why we try to overcomplicate it. But I think now we absolutely have to. So for me, this room's going to take a step forward compared to what we saw last season, as long as the quarterbacks don't just crap the bed. If they come out and if they can at least manage ball games, because the running game is going to be there, you have to look at how everything works together. I feel very confident. I am excited about this room. Wish we could have added some more players. But we just kind of are where we are at this point. We have to stay healthy here. Okay, we have got to stay healthy. But I do think that we can make some strides here, and that's big for this offense. It's about quarterback, offensive line, and wide receivers mostly. If you've got a solid offensive line, you can get by with a really good quarterback play and really good wide receiver play. And I just think that the wide receivers will most definitely ball. So I'm gonna like I said, I would say that the floor is probably like a B minus, and I would say that it could be all the way up to an A+. So let me get to this right here. Okay, cool. For sure. Let me get to this right here from David Speaks. Is saying that RaRa Jackson is his guy. He's got Josh Malone written out all over him as a freshman. Listen, I love RaRa Jackson. I think he's going to have I don't know if he breaks out necessarily this year, but he's going to flash. I mean, he's already been flashing. Like I said, we got guys that are RaRa's making one-handed snatches. You know what I'm saying? In coverage. On the sidelines, keeping 2 feet in. That happened, man.
That's the only knock on this room is just how inexperienced they are. But yeah, like you said, the talent. I don't have any question about talent. We have plenty of talent in that room.
Yeah. So this right here is from Vol Dog. He's talking about Ryan Williams and Jeremiah Smith, and yes, they are coming in. These guys are coming in a lot more polished, and it's going to continue to be that way. Not just at wide receiver, but I think everywhere else, because they're getting specialized training at such a young age. Like, I mean, people are, they're making kids to send them on to the league, in some of these situations. So, yes, they're going to be very, very polished. And I think that's an excellent point, that they don't necessarily have to be veterans. But let's not sleep on the fact that you do still need veterans. That's the one thing that, P and I are both on the same page with. You need the veterans because in certain situations, in certain moments, like if you're playing up against like a Georgia's going to hug you or hold you, mug you, and all of that. You have to know how to have some savviness to your routes, how to get those calls, how to make those catches and all of that. So yes, there's something to be said about being a veteran, but I think that we've got young guys that they understand all those things probably at the point that they're at. And this one right here is from Brian State. What's going on, brother? Thank you for joining us. Saying that we have a Swiss Army knife group of wide receivers for sure, and that they are going to be great. Just stay healthy. That's a perfect point. And that's and we've talked about it. Just like looking at Braylon, everything that he's bringing, everything that Mike's bringing. Really, most of those guys, if not all of them. The only guy that's kind of there's two of them. I would say that looking at Brazel and then looking at Travis Smith. They're bigger guys, so you want them to play more outside. But for me, I think that they've got the skill set that they could also play inside too. So, like he said, yes, Swiss Army knives, and whenever you can switch things up, that's what puts stress on defense. That's what you want to do. Make them have to worry about everything. Go ahead.
And I would love for us to freaking do some jet sweeps and some orbit motions and things like that, man. Get these guys involved because we got a bunch of guys that give them some space. Don't make you miss. They'll run through you So yeah, get these guys the ball in space. Hopefully we can add that to the offense.
Yeah, for sure. All right, so this one right here is saying that I think that if we are able to lean on the run game and I think that if we're able to lean on the running game, then we will be fine no matter what. Then we will be a threat. No matter what with all this talent. Yeah, I think that those are excellent points for sure. Yeah. I mean, it always starts with that running game. So now let's switch pages here. First, so y'all can look at the safety room, but first, what would you give the offense? What would you say that the offensive floor is right now, and what do you think that our ceiling is?
Well, I'm gonna go floor. I'm gonna go probably like a C plus, probably B minus. I'm gonna go B minus with the offensive ceiling because I think the run game was gonna be there no matter what. Kind of like that last commenter just said. With the O line that we expect to have, and then the running backs, I think the run game is gonna be there. So it's tough for me to go below a B minus with the floor, but then the ceiling, I almost kind of hate the ceiling question because to me the ceiling for me is always an A plus.
Always A plus, ain't it?
A plus. So I'm gonna go A plus, man. If the passing game can be if we can just consistently connect on deep shots and avoid, if we can stay single digit interceptions, if we can hit deep shots and throw single digit interceptions, I think this is at least a 10-win team. I'm just gonna say that.
Yeah, I mean, just because the running game's always there. So I think that because the running game's always going to be there, and because the offensive line takes a step forward, my floor, I must say C plus. I'm gonna say C plus, and the reason that I'm saying that is just because if everything goes absolutely horribly everywhere else, then it's gonna be tough. I mean, I think that we'll still be able to run some, but I don't know how many games we're gonna really be able to win if all we can do is run. I don't see that happening, but excuse me, that is a possibility. So I would say that floor for me is going to be C plus, but of course the ceiling is still A plus. I think that we've got some guys at quarterback that can ball, and I trust all of our skill players. I love the fact that we are switching up some things with the offensive scheme. So let's move on to our defense. We're going to start with the safeties because as y'all can see, this room is shorthanded. Jordan Thomas, we don't know if he's going to play. So we're talking about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 guys, and only one of them is a veteran. Everyone else is very, very young. And the first thing that I was thinking about, Pete, as I woke up, I woke up thinking about Tennessee safety room. I thought, you know what? Maybe because we've got more secondary players, we can go out, we can play more man-to-man coverage. It's going to be a whole lot more one high, blitz a whole lot, and we just kind of trust our guys to man up and just keep pressure on these offenses' throats. I think that it might be more of that this season. But what are you thinking about this safety room?
Man, I mean, like you said, Jordan Thomas. I mean, when I think about our safety room, I don't even think about him because from everything that I've heard, like you said, I don't know if he's even going to play this year. So I'm just assuming he's not for now. If he does, beautiful. It's a great luxury. But assuming he's not going to be there, I mean, there's no experience in that freaking room. I mean, you got turn time. You feel good about him. I think he improved a lot last year, so you feel confident in him being a staple back there for you. But let's just knock on wood. God forbid he goes down. I'm just God forbid. I mean, that puts you in a world of hurt. So, I mean, Idris Farouk, love the way he plays, very physical. Have concerns about him in coverage. I think he's susceptible to give up big plays. Hopefully he proves me wrong there. But just from what I've seen, just a little bit, I've seen him susceptible to get beat deep. but very physical. Love how he plays. So maybe you have to get creative as a coach. Tim Banks, whatever. Do we try to keep this guy in the box, avoid him being the high safety at all costs, avoid him being maybe in man coverage without help over top, whatever it is? Beasley, supposedly he worked at safety in the spring, whatever. I don't remember ever seeing him in the spring game playing the safety. So I don't know, I don't know how much, how comfortable they are with him back there, but he's going to have to be ready to play because we don't have anybody else. Then you get down to two freshmen, Sidney Walton and Merritt. Like both those guys down the road, I don't think either one of them will be ready to help us this year. Maybe I'm wrong on that. But this room here, man, this would probably be the lowest grade I give any room. I mean, I don't want to go below a C minus.
Hey, I mean, listen, you know what? You just got to be honest about it.
Yeah, I'm just gonna go C minus. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Because I like the talent, but there's no experience.
Yeah. So also understand this, that you want to rotate 4 guys. I would say that at safety, you want to have 4 guys that you trust. I mean, we don't have 4 guys that we trust right now. Like we just can't say that. I think that Caleb Beasley will be starting next to Andre Turrentine. And I also feel like if you can play star well, then you can play safety well too. The difference between star and safety, like we talked about with star and safety, you're gonna have to be physical and you got to play inside the box. But at safety, it's even more physical. Like safeties are like baby linebackers. Like they're almost like Raptors. You know what I mean? Like, so they're almost like a Raptor where they're, just smaller, but they got to be really, really tough. So I think that Beasley can hold up from that perspective. There's really only 3 guys here that I would say that I feel very confident with. So yeah, I mean, or not even very confident, but that I have any confidence with for them to even roll out there. So yeah, I would say that the floor could be super low. I mean, the scheme is going to have to get changed up significantly to overcompensate for what this room could look like. I think that everyone's going to have to play. Like, all those young guys, freshmen or not, whether they're ready or not, they're probably going to have to play. So yeah, it's pretty much critical that we find at least one more safety, even if it's just a body. I mean, go out there and get you a veteran body, bring them in. I don't even think that you could worry about cost because this is dangerously thin. So I'm gonna say for me, floor. Yeah, go ahead.
Here's a crazy thought no one's ever thrown at you. Would you consider? It's too late now, but if we go back to spring, and this is our room heading into spring, would you consider moving Mike Matthews to safety, knowing he played in high school at a high level? He's a dog.
Hey, listen,
he could go both ways.
Hey, listen. I'm gonna tell you straight up, Mike Matthews would probably be Mike Matthews is probably the best safety on this team, honestly speaking. But we don't even like that. That's the problem, is that we don't have enough depth at wide receiver. He's got to be wide receiver, probably number 1. I think he's going to be a guy that we're leaning on. So yeah, I mean that would be great if we had that luxury, but I don't think that you could take that risk because playing at safety, there is a very high probability of you getting hurt. You know what I mean? Very high because you're going up against big dudes from 10, 15 yards full speed. So yeah, I mean we've got to get that figured out. I think maybe William Wright might have to play here some. Like we're getting into, hey, do we have some walk-on bodies that we like? Because those are the guys that will have to play here some. So they're gonna have to step up a lot. So
we got another Will Brooks sitting around somewhere.
Yeah, man, that would be huge. I'm gonna say that for me, I'm gonna go at about a like D. I think the floor is D. Ceiling. I mean, ceiling's always going to be high just because you never know what's going to happen. But I would say, realistically speaking, I would be ecstatic if we can get these guys to about a C plus. You know what I'm saying? I mean, like that's just me. Like I would be ecstatic just based off of what we know at this point. Now, of course, they can prove me wrong. Hopefully, they will prove me wrong. But that room, that is a problem.
And I'll say too, real quick too, as concerned as we are about this room, I think athletically, this is like one of the most athletic ones that we've had. Though, like if you think about Farouk and Beasley, like those guys, I think can move a little bit differently than maybe Will Brooks. Maybe Will Brooks, I mean, he actually moved very well too. So I don't know, but I think the ceiling's higher than a C plus. I think I give him like a B plus for a ceiling.
Okay. Yeah. Hey, listen. Hopefully, and of course, I always think that the ceiling is going to be A plus because they could shock me. But the reason, again, that I'm saying probably C plus is because we only have 5 people here. There's only 1 veteran. So just like realistically speaking, it would take a lot. Now, it might be a situation where it starts off rocky, but they take their lumps, and as long as they stay healthy, they figure it out at the end. That would be huge.
How many stages we play last year? It was Turntime, Brooks, Jacoby,
Christian Charles, Kobe
Christian,
Thomas.
and then Farouk played a little bit. So it's
Yeah.
about five guys. Four really rotated. About
Mm-hmm.
five guys. Yep.
Yeah. And then we still had guys behind him that we liked, like a John Slaughter
Mm-hmm.
that we
Yeah.
still liked. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
all right. Well, let's move on to this next one. So Star, obviously Boo Carter's really, really good. Love him. Behind him, who's it going to be? That's the question. It's like he's good, but I got William right here. He could maybe step up there. Caleb Beasley was my guy at first. I think he would have been a great backup star player, but now he's got to play safety, at least as far as I'm concerned. We got Marcus Gorey. I also really like him. I love those underclassmen, or I love those true freshmen too. But P, what are you thinking here?
I forgot all about Marcus Goree. So he's a guy. Go back and watch him and Boo Carter playing high school ball. So he played safety in high school. So I wanted to consider
Yeah.
him going back to safety. I mean, he's not the biggest guy, but I think
maybe he will. And then
yeah,
and then too also P, I didn't put him on him, but also Colton Hood. He's you could throw him in here at star or at safety. So we got to keep him in mind. I would say now that I'm thinking about that, I feel a little bit more confident because I think he's probably going to be star number 2. But sorry about that, P. Carry on.
Oh yeah, no, you're good. Yeah, but yeah, there's another room. I mean, you really don't know who you have besides Boo. Beasley looked good in the spring, but I mean, heck, he's probably going to be more used at safety. I think William Rice looked pretty solid. Walk-on guy, so you always have a little bit of concern there just because he's a walk-on guy. But I mean, not taking anything away from him. I think he's talented and everything. But yeah, inexperienced group, man, young. I love Marcus Goree. I think he's very similar to Boo Carter. Just wasn't quite as physically ready as Boo was, but he's same type of aggression, same type of quick twitch. They play very similar. He's just like a little bit taller version of Boo almost. So we'll see kind of where they use him. But I don't know. I would go probably Boo as your number 1 guy, and then I would go Caleb Beasley as your 2, but I think he's going to have to us out at safety. So I don't know. I don't know who number 2 would be. Maybe I'm leaning Dylan Lewis. Just from what we've seen. I haven't seen Goree work star in the spring, so I don't know if they're even looking at him there. But I would have Goree as my number 2, but just based on what I've seen from the staff, I think it'd be Boo, and then Dylan Lewis would probably be your second star. Maybe
so you're putting him over Colton Hood?
Oh yeah, I forgot. You always talk about him. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, we haven't really seen him here, so I don't know. We'll see. Yeah, I'd probably go Hood as your number 2 guy. You're probably right.
Yeah, I would probably put him at number 2. At number 2. Let me get to this one right here from 10 Vols 1084 saying or asking, what are the keys in our minds that we have to focus on to beat Georgia this year? So sit tight. We're going to try to breeze through this. We're going to talk about our schedule coming up here in just a minute because actually, Pete, excuse me, I think that you said that Josh Pate had us with the easiest schedule out of all the SEC teams, which is probably pretty true. So we're gonna get to that in just a minute. Let's just sit tight. So cornerback room, I would say that the floor here for me is about solid B, ceilings A+. I mean, we've got guys here that I really, really like, even just to start the season off. Listen, I love Ricky Gibson. I love Ricky Gibson. I also love J-Mac. And then, we're going to have the best cornerback, I feel like, in all of college football coming back, probably week 2 or 3 for that Georgia game. And then we just get even deeper because I think Tyler Redmond's going to step up. He's a guy that I got to coach whenever he was just a little baby. So, I know what he's made of from pretty much the time that he was born. So he's going to be fine. I think we've got plenty of bodies here, players who can step up, and they're going to have really, really, really good coverage. So I'm going to say, again, man, solid B floor, ceiling is an A+. P, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm saying, I think floor, I might go a little lower on the floor.
Okay.
Just because, the lack of experience depth, at least to start the season. So I might go maybe like a B- on the floor. But yeah, I think ceiling could be an A+. Like the room a lot of talent, and then Ty Redmond's looked really good in the spring game. Dylan Lewis has looked good all spring. I think Poteet's looked good as well. Haven't seen a ton of Brazel. But yeah, and then of course we like all the veteran guys, Gibson, McCoy, and McMurray. So I like the room a lot, man. Talented group. So I go, I'd say like a BB+.
Yeah. Okay. So what? That's your ceiling?
Oh no, my ceiling's an A+. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Okay. So this right here is saying that Hood is just good at playing on an island to play safety. Really, be a waste of a good corner. Oh, okay. Yeah. I don't think that, to me, Hood is not a safety. So this is something that I think I talked about in the previous stream on yesterday, that just because you can play corner does not mean that you can play safety. That's two totally different positions. It's both secondary, but it's different, right? Like just think about Deion Sanders playing safety. For those of y'all that actually got to watch him play, best cornerback ever. He damn sure wasn't playing no damn safety because you got to be physical. So, and I'm not saying the Hood is not physical. I just don't think that he's that type of physical. It's different. Now, Star, I think that he could do. I think that he could get away with playing at Star. All right, so let's go on to this next one because we got to get to the end right here. Let's talk about our tackle room. It's going to be huge for me. Love our top three. So Bryson Eason, Jackson Moore, and then David Hobbs. Love those guys. We don't know about Wallace. Is he going to play this season? We added a guy. Now, you know what? I think that this might be the wrong one because he should be on here, but we just added the guy, Shell. So Shell's really good. I think he's going to be like third or fourth string, but for me, these freshmen, I think that they've got a lot of promise. I think that they can step up. They're going to have to step up some for us, but I think that they will be able to. So I would say that the floor here, I'm going to go with about I'm going to say floor at about a B-, and then, ceiling, I'm going to go with probably like a solid A, but what do you think, P?
Yeah, same. I say B- is the floor. It's a talented room, but again, lack of experience, at least depth. You love your first wave of guys. Your second wave you feel pretty decent about, assuming it's going to be probably Hobbs and Nathan Robinson as your second wave. But then behind that, you wonder. I mean, we've heard great things about Ethan Utley. So we'll see kind of what he does, and then Isaiah Campbell's look good as well. So like those young guys, we're excited about them. We just understand that as true freshmen in this league, it's almost unfair to really expect anything from those guys. So hopefully they can come in here and can mature very quickly. And then Charles House, I'm really high on him. Haven't seen him yet, but I got a feeling he's going to come in here and really make a splash. So we'll see if he can get ready to play in just a few short months. But yeah, I'd go B- is my floor for this group. But they could be an A+ too. So we'll see.
Yep. Okay. So love that. So let's go into the linebacker room. Absolutely love this room. I think that this one's going to be really, really good. I want to say that the floor for me is a B, just a very, very solid B, and that's just if everything. I mean, it might be a B+, but I'm gonna say B. Love these guys. Arion Carter's going to be back. Obviously we love Power T, Jeremiah T-Lander, Edwin Spillman, who's going to be the starting two because we like to run nickel. I think that Ben Bolton as a walk-ons look good. Jaden Pilati. Actually, he's a guy that, we didn't talk about him with those safeties, but let me just say this. If Tennessee does get to a situation where we say, hey, we're just going to man up everywhere because we don't know if we've got the guys that can really bang inside of the box, okay, well, why don't you put a daggum Jaden Pilati out there as, like a third linebacker safety hybrid, because I think that he could do that. Seriously speaking, now he's coming off of a injury, but I think he's going to be ready for fall camp. I think that they got to try to see how that looks some. You have to try it out some just to see. But, obviously, we got guys like Christian Gass that could also play linebacker. I think he's going to get his start playing at Leo. Jaden Harmon, loved him coming out of high school. A whole lot of young guys here. Jordan Burns, he's just looks so good. I think he's got to get more physical, though. I've noticed that in the orange and white game. Got to get some more strength to his pop. You know what I'm saying? Like, he can't be getting bulldozed around and stuff. So hopefully he might need to gain another 10, 15 pounds or something. But I don't think he was strong enough at the point of contact. But if he learns how to play with the speed or something, he's going to be fine. I think that Brendan Ains, maybe not for this season, probably more of a special teams guy this year, but next year, maybe. We'll see. But I just think that this room is really, really deep. So I would say the floor for me is going to be a very solid B. Ceiling is the freaking roof. Okay. So we're going to go to A+. But what do you think, P?
Yeah, Sam, I'm the same as you. I think it's a good group, man. Tough to imagine them not having a good season. I mean, haven't even seen Arion Carter all spring, but you expect him to really take another step. You love the veteran guys, but you're really excited about the young guys too. So we'll see if those guys get really any opportunity to play, because I think they add something to this team that we haven't really had. I think all three of those young guys, they add a different level of athleticism, even different than Arion Carter. So we'll see if they can get their chance to play. I wouldn't really count on them getting a ton of playing time this year, but like you said, unless they move guys around maybe to safety or something like that, maybe we have a package for a Christian Gass or something to come off the edge, whatever it is. But yeah, I love this group, man. I can see them being an A+, but I'm going to give this group a solid A. I love this room.
Okay, love that. So this right here is from David. He's asking us, who is our, basically who's our breakout player on defense in last year? Okay, we know who those players were from last season. Yeah, that is a good question.
You know who I'm going to say?
Yeah, go ahead.
I mean, I don't know if you want to say like a breakout guy, but maybe a surprise. I think, gosh dang, his name just slipped my freaking mind.
Does he play?
Tyler Redmond. I think
Oh, right.
Redmond. We'll see if he gets a chance to play, but I think that he's going to surprise people. Like he's looked really good. So I go him, and then my number 2 guy. I'm gonna go Marcus Goree because I've been singing his praises all spring. So hopefully he doesn't let me down.
Yeah, I like that. So for me, I'm gonna go with. I had to go with Jordan Ross. Absolutely have to go with Jordan Ross, and I think I'm gonna also go with David Hobbs. I think that I'm gonna go with those
That's
two.
That's 2 good
You know
ones.
what I'm saying? Since you went back in, I'm gonna go with that front 4. All right. So next, actually, speaking of the front 4, still, let's talk about strong side ends. I think that this room's floor is. I'm gonna say that gonna B plus. I mean, we've got guys in there that can absolutely ball. Tyree West is a serious problem.
He's another one who said
Oh
as a
yeah,
breakout
damn,
guy.
damn,
Yeah,
yeah.
he's gonna have a big year.
He's gonna have a huge year. He's only gotten better and better since that Citrus Bowl. But Tyree West, I mean, he's gonna be a serious problem. I think that Dominic Bailey might be playing more tackle. We didn't talk too much about him, but also playing at strong side, and I think he's gonna be fine. What is Tyree Westby gonna give us? You know what I'm saying? I'm hoping that he can maybe take that step forward. But I'm gonna say B plus as our floor to a daggum A plus as our ceiling.
Yeah, same. I agree. For all the same reasons, like the room, a lot of talent. There's a pretty good blend of, I mean, we look at it as not, I guess not a ton of experience outside of Bailey and West, but just a bunch of we have some older bodies in there, a lot of good bodies in there. And then there's a little mix of some young talent that you're excited to see. Marion Dye, Jaden Lofton, excited to see those guys too. So, I mean, yeah, this is I agree, man. This is like a B plus type room at worst, but could be, A plus for sure.
Yeah. So Coach Gardner's doing a phenomenal job, but we already knew that. So let's talk about Leo's. For me, I'm gonna say same thing. I think that the floor is not, it's a daggone B plus. Should be an A plus. Will we take a step back compared to last season? I think that that's possible. But Joshua Josephs, he's a dog. Jordan Ross, Caleb Herring. Is Marion Dow playing strong side or is he playing Leo? Haven't really seen him in passes yet. But I think he could do either one at a really, really high level. Christian Gass, has he gained that weight? He's got to gain probably about 30 more pounds before he can play, but love his first step. Jaden Lofton, he's another one. Absolutely love him. And I think that Lindstrom's going to play some strong side and Leo. I think he might be better playing at Leo just because of his stature or maybe just because of his frame. He's not as big. And then Emmanuel Okoye, he's a guy that if he gets healthy, I'm telling you, just as far as an athlete, he's a freak. So that's where I'm at, P. What do you think?
Yeah, same. This is a very talented room, loaded with talent, top to bottom. Like you said, Jordan Ross is kind of one of your breakout guys this year. I agree with that. I think he's going to really pop onto the scene. But you also have Josh Josephs, who I think is going to have a big year, and then Caleb Herring, who I think's been really close. I've said it a million times, so I'll continue to say it. If he wore number 27, you would swear he was James Pierce. They look just alike out there on the field. Love him, and then love the young guys. You talk about Okoye. I mean, I think was it in game last season? Was it in the game? I don't know. I can't remember when it was we saw him, but he freaking got in. He got in and got some reps. And he looked great. Now he was raw. You could tell there was some talent, some technique things need to work on. But he has the strength, the arm length, the pop off the ball. You have to figure it was like his 3rd year here. If it clicks for him, and if he gets healthy, I think he had a knee deal. If he gets healthy and all that, he's a guy that could pop. He could be one of those guys that gets drafted, and he's in the NFL, and you're like, who the heck is this guy? Where did he come from? That's man Coy from Tennessee. You know what I'm saying? So, love that room too. So yeah, I go B plus, A plus.
Okay, love that. So this right here is from James the third. Is asking, could we see Dye turn into a top new corner? So Dye's playing Leo, or he's playing somewhere.
He said newcomer.
Oh, sorry, y'all. I need some glasses. Okay. I could definitely see that. Listen, I loved Marion Dye's film. He's one of my favorite players from that class. Loved his film. I think he's a very, very serious problem. Now, he's missed out on so much time because he couldn't go throughout spring. But I mean, Pete, what do you think about it?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, we love Marion Dye. He might have been the guy we may have been most excited about in the entire class. I mean, we absolutely could not stop talking about that guy. So yeah, we're excited. Like I said, he was hurt, but man, yeah, he's a guy. I mean, we can see him playing literally. You talk about all the time, anywhere on the D line, interior, outside, edge, doesn't matter. He can do it all. Fast, big, strong, physical, mean, the whole deal. So Yeah, we absolutely love Marion Dye.
Yeah, so David's asking the same question about offense. So he thinks that Staley and RaRa as his freshmen. Okay. Yeah, I mean, listen,
I like that.
Yeah, I would say that those two for sure. Man, breakout offensive players. I mean, dude, like there's so many guys on the offense that I could look at and say that they're probably that I could see them breaking out.
Mhm.
I mean, since he already took those two, I'm gonna go with you know what, P? I'm gonna let you go first.
Well, I mean, yeah, you took Staley. Staley would have been my guy. I absolutely love Staley. I mean, I just think he's due for a big year. Um, I hate to go with the cop out and take Mike Matthews, but I mean, I think he's gonna have a big year. If I had to go like a surprise that many people wouldn't be kind of thinking about, breakout guy, uh, maybe Travis Smith. I think he's a
Yeah.
guy. I mean, I know people have kind of mentioned his name, but I like him a lot. And then maybe if I went for a second guy, I don't know, maybe somebody in the O line, just to throw it up, mix up a little bit. Maybe William Satterwhite really turns to a staple of that O line.
Yeah, so that's why I let you go first because I was like, shoot, so many people. I'm gonna just take kind of like who you don't take. So I'm gonna go with I think that I'm gonna go with Brazel. Since y'all took
Nice.
other players, I'm gonna go with Brazel because I think the second year inside the Hypo system sounds like he understands that hey, I've got to put up some good numbers and all of that for me to go into the league. So and he is a dog, like he's got it in him. So I think he's going to break out. But then I could also say David Sanders because the way that he looked playing at tackle, I love what I saw. So I think that's it, Pete. Let me see. Is that everything? Yep. So that's it. So we're gonna go ahead and pull up this schedule. Okay. With everything that we just said, we're gonna go ahead and get to the schedule and talk about where Tennessee's at from this perspective. And hopefully y'all can see this. It is a lot easier because Syracuse, right? That's at a neutral site. Syracuse it's not going to be the easiest game, but I think that that's a winnable game. Now that Georgia game, and we talked about it. We said that we would say, hey, what are the keys to us winning this one? For me, it's going to be about the quarterback has got a ball. The quarterback's got to have a really, really good game. And something else too. This kind of going back to how we started this whole stream off. Looking at the top 25 teams, 4 of them that don't have GMs, people will look at Georgia and say, well, they don't have a GM, so nobody needs one. Georgia's gone backwards since NIL started. P and I was talking about this. Since they won their last national championship, they've only gone backwards every single year, slowly but surely. This team now that they have, yes, it's talented, but even on paper, you don't look at them and say, hey, they're going to win the national championship, unless you're just some Georgia homer or something. I don't look at that roster and say that they're going to win it because, see, Georgia's offense and really like how they play, it's so straight up and down that the quarterback doesn't like you're not putting the quarterback in a position to ball really. Like they have to manage games. So you're gonna have game managers. You're not gonna win some of these closer games with the daggum game manager unless you got juggernauts everywhere. They don't have that anymore. There's not juggernauts everywhere, 2 or 3, deep. So saying all that just to say, I think that Georgia is a beatable team. Really, out of the big 3P, would you say that Georgia might be the most beatable, especially since it's in Neyland?
I would say so. I feel most confident about them. I feel more confident against them than I do against Bama or Florida.
I think that
Especially,
I think
especially,
that I do
especially
too.
at those places, yeah. I
Yeah.
feel more confident Georgia at home. And I would say my key for me, I mean, this comes down to same thing as always. Now, I think to me, it's going to be the one at the line of scrimmage on both sides. I think, and that's a cliche answer for sure. I think last year we did a decent job, but I think when I talk about line of scrimmage, can we run the ball pretty much at will? Can we get 4 or 5 yards a pop? Can we lean on the run game? And then can we stop them from running the ball? Can we make them one dimensional, have to pass it, which we kind of did last year, but they hit us on a couple of big plays. And then can we get a pass rush? And can we give our quarterback time to let plays develop and get things out of it? I think if we can control the line of scrimmage on both sides, I feel very confident. I got a feeling it's going to be a lower scoring game, similar to kind of how last year was, but it's a little bit lower. Like it might be a game that's like in the teens, like it's like a
Wow.
17
Super
to
low game. Yeah.
maybe 17-13 type game, something like that. But yeah, I can see us winning that game for sure.
Yeah, and you know what? I'm actually happy that you just said that, Pete, because if you look at the way that our team is set up, based off of what we just talked about, going through our entire roster, obviously we have got to lean on our defense. The defense has got to play very, very well, and we feel good about everything on defense outside of safety, just because we're just so unsure there's not enough bodies. But if the defense plays well, then that can keep the offense in these games. Now, again, going back to Georgia, they're the team that started running that mint front versus Tennessee's offensive style. And teams found out, hey, we can run this same front. We can slow down Tennessee's, running game with a lighter box. And Tennessee's seen it several times. Georgia hasn't really changed up too much of anything. But now we have the chance to be able to change some things up. So that could catch Georgia off guard. I'm starting to feel like Tennessee's going to win this damn game. Maybe it's just because I hate Georgia or whatever. I'm starting to feel like we have a really good shot.
I mean, think about it. Our O-line, for example, I think is better this year. Like I think it's physically better. It's more talented. I mean, I have more experience, but more talented. Like you think about Sprague and some of these guys, Campbell, some of these guys getting beat and stuff. I feel like you look at a Jackson Moy type guy. You look at some of these other guys. They're going to be able to hold up, I think, much better than maybe some of the guys we've had in the past. So I think the O-line will be better. We won't get pushed around up front. And then, I mean, dude, the quarterback, I mean, I'm not sold on that guy. He's high school QB. He's a prototypical high school QB. That's what he is. He's going to hit some plays. He's going to miss a lot, too. You know what I mean? So I think we got these guys this year.
Yeah, I mean, there's just not a lot that Georgia does that scares me. I'm gonna tell you, the offense is gonna look the exact same this year. Everything that they're doing is going to look the exact same way. So, like, we know what they're gonna do. Like, they're not gonna be able to change up too much of nothing. So, I actually think that we have a good shot at it, especially because it's at home. The crowd's got to play a major factor in. I mean, major. Like, we should have minor tremors and stuff, right? Like like earthquakes. I actually think that Tennessee set the decibel record for all the college programs the last time that Georgia came up to Neyland. We got to go higher than that this time, but we got to keep that consistent. Either way, that's our keys to that game.
And I'll say one more key too. One more key too is you touched on our safeties. One thing Georgia is known for is having tight ends, and I think they got one coming in as a freshman. I think it's like I'm talking about that one. I mean, on the kid's name is like 6'6", like 255, something like that. It looks good. He may factor in. They already got two or three other guys that were like 5 stars. So that's going to be an interesting matchup. Them versus our safeties. That may end up determining the game too. So
that is an excellent point. I did not even think about that, but that is a very, very, very good point. But so UAB, we already know. I mean, we should be able to win that one. We got to go to Starkville to play Mississippi State. I just think that one's about minimizing turnovers. And we didn't say it earlier, but versus Syracuse, for me, that game's going to be about toughness. I see us winning that one. I'm still going to say, hey, Georgia, that's kind of a toss. For me, Georgia is not a guaranteed loss. For me, that's now a toss-up. UAB, I've got that one as a win. Mississippi State got that one as a win, even though it's in Starkville. We tend to struggle there. Arkansas, that's another toss-up game. They've got a whole lot of talent. Just like you said, Pete, they're going to target safeties with a whole lot of seam routes. That's what Bobby P likes to do. Also with the RPO game and all of that. Safeties, they're going to get stressed out. So that's a tough one. But we can find a way to win. This might be a game now where we're talking about, hey, offense has got to bail us out. Offense might have to bail us out there because if they want to play that, 4 or 5 safety deep crap that we saw Ole Miss killed it. Like whenever Ole Miss played up against them with the same offensive scheme, they killed them. So hopefully we took something from that. It's everything that we've talked about. Alabama, that one's going to be tough. Not because we're going to Tuscaloosa necessarily, but they will be cheating there. But Alabama's got a good team. Now, they don't have a whole lot of depth at tackle. So I think that, man, we got to try to get after those daggum guys. But I do think that their offense is going to look a little bit different. It's going to be more pocket passing. They've got some really good wide receivers. The defense could potentially take a step forward, especially with their secondary. But if they want to go man up on the outside, I love our guys versus anybody else's guys all day long. As long as the quarterback can get it to him. And P, you can just stop me if you want to throw anything in anyway.
Oh yeah, no, I'll say this about Alabama is last year we I know they were young at corner. I think they had like 2 true freshmen playing, or maybe the Nichols, they had like 2 or 3 true freshmen playing DB for them last year. So expect those guys to be better. I'm pretty sure those guys were highly rated. I think they'll be better, in the secondary. And listening to Coach DeBoer talk the other day, I think he's really high on his corners, and he thinks that his receivers are going to take a big step forward this year as well. So he expects the team to be better. I'm not sure who the quarterback is. Is it Ty Simpson? Is that their freaking quarterback?
So probably. I mean, yeah, man. Yeah, him, and then there's the 5-star freshman. I've seen sometimes when the kid, that big kid that they got, I think he might have came from Boise State. It's like 6'5" or 6'6", 240 or something. But I mean, yeah.
Can he run, or he's a pocket guy?
Yeah. I mean, well, he's more of a pocket guy, but he can run.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Like he would be the least mobile of those threes because he's going to try to pass the ball first, but he's got a daggum cannon. I mean, he could probably throw the ball 85 yards.
Was like a younger Ben Roethlisberger? Remember him in college?
Yeah, I don't remember
Miami,
exactly how
Ohio.
he looked in college. I mean, I'm not going to say that he's that. I mean, he's not like that. I would say he's more like a. I don't know how to even.
Was like a
I'm trying
Josh
to think.
Allen, like athletically, or
I would
no?
say, I would say he's more like a Josh Allen, but just a little bit less of a runner. But
Okay.
see what I'm saying? Like he's a big
Mhm.
guy with a big arm that can run. He's more of an issue because he can run through you,
Mhm.
not so much running past you. See what I mean?
Mhm. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Okay. So
What
next
they
one.
doing?
Yep. So next one, we've got Kentucky. I think, I mean, we should be able to win that one. Oklahoma's going to be good. That one's going to be tough, but we got them at home. So that's still a toss up for me. Obviously, we're going to win this next game. Then we got Florida going down to the Swamp. I'm going to count that one as a loss. Vandy, I think that we're going to beat Vandy because we have them at home, but it's going to be tough. So we've got two games that I'm looking at right now that's probably going to be losses. Outside of that, I'm looking at Georgia, looking at Arkansas, looking at Oklahoma. It's kind of like toss up games. Because we get all those teams at home, but they're all good teams. They've got styles that are going to put stress on Tennessee's defense, where we're the weakest at. So in those games, Tennessee's offense is going to have to step up, whether that's just from the running game, from the tight ends, or from the quarterback, or whatever. The offense has to step up as a unit. And if we could steal, we'd have to steal two of the games that we're not quite sure on. Hey, will Tennessee win these or not? And I think that if we do that, or no, P, is that right? Maybe three of them. We
Mhm.
might have to steal three of those games, three, maybe four of them. And then Tennessee has a shot to make it to the playoffs. So that's about where I'm at personally.
Man,
So
man,
I'm still kind of, I'm personally still at the spot, P, where I say I could see us. I'm not going to say, I think that we're going to make it to a bowl game now. I think that we will. But I could see us, maybe winning 7 games to potentially making it to the college football playoffs. But what do you think?
without having seen the team play, it's impossible to
Yeah,
really know.
early,
But
early.
if somebody held a gun to my head right now and said, "Bet on every one of these games, and if you get one wrong, I'm going to kill you," I'm not. I don't think I bet against Tennessee in any one of these games. Honestly, I got us going 12-0. I mean, I just do. I mean, I haven't hey, haven't seen the team, but man, I just think we got all these guys. Man, I just think we're going to beat all these guys. I do. I mean, I guess that's the fan in me. Every year I do it to myself, but 12-0, man. That's what I see.
Oh man, yeah,
12-0.
no, that is too funny. So I do see some questions in here asking about the quarterback competition. So we're gonna finish with that, and we already kind of talked about it. But for me, I mean, it's too early for me to call it. I am starting to lean more towards Joey though. Just again, long off season. We still got all the summer, but I'm leaning more towards Joey. But P, what do you think about that?
Yeah, I'm definitely leaning towards Joey as well. We really have no idea. I think he's supposed to be getting up on campus here in a couple weeks, and
Couple weeks?
hopefully, yeah. So, I mean, hopefully he's already got the daggone playbook, and hopefully he's already
Oh
kind of
yeah,
learned it. And hopefully he's on the phone with Halsey and Hypo every day, and they're going over Skype, Zoom calls, whatever, and going through stuff. Heck, and hopefully they've flown out there. Maybe somebody already flew out there with him and has been working with him, whatever. I don't know, but he needs to be ready to go. He's got to win the locker room. That's gonna be the big thing for him. I think if he can not just learn the playbook, but has to win the locker room and kind of people look at him as the guy. Like when he's in the huddle, well, I guess not a huddle, but like this
yeah.
like, a guy that people look to and then they know that he's the guy. You know what I'm saying? If he can do that, yeah, I think he'll be the guy.
Yeah, and that's gonna be the hardest thing for him. But that's gonna do it, y'all. Listen, thank y'all so much for joining us today. Please do make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. We're gonna go ahead and wrap this thing up and see if we can catch the end of this baseball game and all of that. But we'll be coming back to you maybe tomorrow or maybe later on today if something big happens. But thank you. We'll see you on the next one. Peace.